Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. Jeremy Hill is here. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm doing solid, man. Ready to see my Tigers take on the Dogs tonight.
That'll be happening 6 o'clock, and we're going to talk about it right here, right now. We'll also touch on it in the second hour when we are joined by Jordan D. Hill from Dogs 247. Talk about Tom Crean's crew that is not very good. But a lot more to get to on this show as well. In 15 minutes, we will be talking LSU baseball. Kind of want to get towards the bottom half of the batting order. You know, Cruz and Barry, Trey Morgan, Cade Doty, Dugas, Thompson. Who else? What is the rest of this lineup going to look like? What are the rest of the options? We will cruise through some of those here in 15 minutes. We'll recap a wild night of SEC basketball coming up in 30 minutes. It was nuts last night in the league for a lot of different reasons. Fights, half-court shots, buzzer beaters, overtime. It was nuts in the SEC last night. Big deal for Javonte Smart. He is headed up to the NBA once again this year after an incredible run in the G League. Cam Thomas is on fire. Trendon Watford's found his way. We'll talk about that in the second hour. And, of course, we always finish things up with Take It or Leave It. So lock us in for the next 2 hours here on Hunt and Hill. But we start with LSU and Georgia. Jeremy, you've played plenty of SEC football games against teams that weren't very good, that you knew they weren't very good when you left the locker room. Sometimes that goes really well because they're not very good and you play well and you handle your business like you should. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't think anybody in LSU's locker room that takes the floor tonight is unaware that Georgia's 1-11 in SEC play. Everyone knows that. How do you approach the game?
Yeah, you got to just, as cliche as it sounds, you really just got to do everything you've done to get yourself in this position, especially to this point in the season. And the last thing you want to do is find yourself sleepwalking through this first half and giving this Georgia team who has a win over Alabama. So they've done it before. They've pulled off an upset before. You keep this team close around in this game. They start knocking down some shots, and they gain a world of confidence, and then you find yourself trying to dig yourself out of a hole, which we've kind of seen this team do this year. So I think for the Tigers, more than anything tonight, you want to start fast against this team. You want to put them away early, remind them what they are in the SEC, remind them why they're so bad, and kind of just carry that over to the second half. And I think if you can do that early on, you'll see this kind of Georgia basketball team kind of back down.
It's not just SEC play. I mean, they have lost 10 of 11 of 12 in SEC play, the one win being against Alabama. But prior to SEC play, they lost to East Tennessee State and Gardner-Webb. They've won one time since Christmas, the Alabama game. Now, they played Auburn to the wire. They beat Alabama. And I could sit here and tell you that, well, they're better than that record indicates. They're not. They're bad. They're not any good. That's why they lose far more often than they win, and they probably won't win 3 league games this year. It's some fault of Tom Crean, some fault not of his. You've got Xavier Wheeler and Katie Johnson, who are really good players, who are scoring a ton of points and running the show for 2 other teams in the league, Kentucky and Auburn, the best 2 teams in the league. So that's what he's left with. This is a Georgia team that scored 92 on LSU in an overtime game last year, scored 91 in a game they just absolutely crushed LSU in Athens last year. Now, Xavier Wheeler had a ton to do with that. He had a triple-double in Athens. He lit LSU up at home off the dribble. LSU just couldn't do anything with him. But you would tend to say, okay, well, that's Tom Crean's offense working against Will Wade's defense. Like, there might be something there. It's just different Jimmys and Joes. I mean, I just went through the guys who are in the NBA scoring a bunch of points. They don't play great defense. This is a different LSU team. It's a different Georgia team. You wouldn't imagine, even though it's the same 2 coaches, same 2 systems, that it's going to look very much like that.
No, I don't. I would be hard pressed to figure out a way that this Georgia basketball team's got to find a way to score over 80 points, especially in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. I just don't see it. They don't have that scoring power. I think that the only way for them to really have a chance is you see this LSU basketball team come out there turning the ball over, not making shots, and you really just keep them in the game because you're just not playing well. I agree with you. This is not a good basketball team. I can't point to one guy that I feel like is going to be an NBA player on this roster right now. It's just the talent just isn't there. So with you knowing that going into it, you're 17.5 point favorites at home.
That's a shocking number.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, especially for an SEC basketball game. And they play some teams close. I mean, some teams just underestimated this team that they will play you tight if you keep the game close. But with the defense that we have and just the way we've been playing and the way the level Tari Easton's been playing, I really don't see them really making this a game.
Okay, let me go through some stats here for Georgia. These are sometimes mind-boggling. I'm going to go through 8 stats, and I'll tell you right out of the top, Georgia is not in the top 200 in the country in any of the 8. Offensive efficiency, 200th. Defensive efficiency, 325th. That's not very good on either side of the ball. Stick back to the offense. 3-point shooting percentage, 285th in the nation. Offensive rebounding percentage, that's been an issue for LSU at times, getting on the defensive glass. How does Georgia offensive rebound? 269th. Turnovers. Now, LSU's really good at forcing turnovers. Does Georgia turn it over? Yeah, they're 288th in the country in turnovers per game on the offensive end. Switch to defense. Opponent shooting percentage. LSU's best in the country at this. How does Georgia do it? 322nd. Turnovers, forcing turnovers, opponents' turnovers per game. 297th in the country. Opponents' offensive rebounding percentage. Do they keep people off the glass? No, 241st in the country in offensive rebounds against. They've lost the boards in 8 of their 12 SEC games. They're awful at everything across the board except one statistical measure that could be an issue tonight. They are number 10 in the country in free throw makes. They are number 11 in the country in free throw attempts. And they are the best free throw shooting percentage team in the Southeastern Conference. Now, here's the crux of the dilemma. Yeah, they turn the ball over a ton. 288th in the country in turnover percentage. So you want to be aggressive. You want to force turnovers. You want to trap. You want to take chances. You want to force them into making the plays that they make time and time again. But where's the line drawn between forcing those turnovers, being aggressive, and putting this team on the line where that you don't have to worry about their 3-point shooting percentage or their offensive efficiency? They're at the free throw line. They're one of the best teams in the country. Got to keep them away from there. How do you coach that?
Yeah, I think you turn the level of aggression against this team just a little bit down. You want this team to make tough shots time and time again. The last thing you want to do, which we've seen, especially during SEC play, we get a little aggressive. We stick our hand in the cookie jar. We get real aggressive when guys, beat someone off the dribble and go to the goal. They're pretty much getting fouled every single time. So I think with a team like this, especially with their guards play, all of their guards average over 2 turnovers a game. So you want to make these guys make tough passes, and you don't want to keep them in the foul line, especially you get them in the bonus early, and then now you really can't play the defense that you're accustomed to playing. So keep the team off the line, make them take tough shots, and you would think that your talent and your level of defense would get you a nice little lead, especially in the first half, and you can kind of seal your way to a victory here.
It's, generally speaking, a fairly small team. They're going to start 3 guards. Then Noah Bauman will start at the 4 for him, and he's 6'6" and shoots a ton of threes. So he's, that's a guy that is drifting on the perimeter days, would probably spend a lot of time with him. Aaron Cook is their point guard, 6'2", grad transfer, 10.5 points per game, bad shooter, 21% from 3 in SEC play, does dish 5 assists per game. So that's the guy that LSU is going to see the ball in his hands a lot, and they've got to deal with. And then you got Braylon Bridges at the 5, who's a 6'11", 240-pound senior, purely a back-to-the-basket player. But there's just nobody that concerns me offensively for Georgia that you've got to worry about helping off of or worrying about doubling on the post. Basically, LSU can kind of do whatever they want on the defensive end. That's going to be aggressive. It's going to be switching. It's going to be trying to force turnovers and playing a lot of guys. I guess the more interesting side of this, as opposed to the Georgia scouting report, is how does LSU handle themselves? Because, this is the point I made on the podcast this morning. You can basically determine at this point that LSU is as healthy as they've been in a month and a half. Pinson looks good that he's played 1 game in 7 days leading up to this one, because they played last Tuesday. It's now a week and a day later, and they've only played a Saturday night game. Pinson should be back healthy. Days' ankle looks pretty good. You feel like the thumb is getting better for Murray every single day. Gaines has been dealing with some issues as well, but you're pretty healthy. So, okay, how good are you? Are you going to fall behind by 15 or 18 again and try to scrap your way through it? Or are you going to put this team away with 10 minutes to go in the game and determine, hey, let's move forward. We're the team we were in December. Here we are. We're coming at you for the next 3 weeks. It's not that cut and dried because it's a long season. Anything can happen between the span of a Wednesday and a Saturday, but it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, it definitely does, especially the way you see this team trending after that Vanderbilt game. You went on the road at A&M. You get a home win against Mississippi State after you played amazing in both first half of those games, and that's exactly what we've desperately been wanting from this team. You just have those, and especially in that losing stretch, you just start slow, turn it over, and you're starting to cut some of that stuff out, and you're starting to get everyone back healthy. So now in a team where you have no business losing to this Georgia basketball team, you want to continue that. You want to continue to keep guys in rhythm. You want to see, continue to see guys play healthy. And I want to see this team not turn the ball over tonight. I think you can continue to do that. Then maybe you do have some chances in some of these games later on in the season, but you continue to turn the ball over, you're not going to have a chance. So continue to play defense at a high level. Don't foul, especially this team who shoots the ball extremely well from the free throw line. You put them away early, get that confidence, and start really feeling good about yourself again. So this is a great opportunity for this basketball team to continue what they've done with Xavier Pinson back in this lineup. You got to put Georgia away, and you got to do it quick.
What do you do at the 5 in this game?
I kind of, as sad as it is, I know everyone gets really cheerful and happy when you get a 5-star coming into town, but I just don't think Efton's playing at that level right now. I don't think he's ready right now. I think he needs another offseason to continue to get stronger and to continue to work on this game. I would not be upset if you see some more Fudge at the 5 and see some more Sharif O'Neal at the 5. I think those guys give you a little more versatility as far as switching, which is what you do a ton of. They can guard some of those 1s and 2s a lot better than I think Efton can. So I wouldn't be too upset if they cut Efton's minutes down a bit and give some of those other guys some opportunities to play.
Will Wade, obviously you have actions and you have words. The action was in the second half Saturday, Efton played 5 minutes. The words were on the coach's show on Monday. I'm not really worried about who starts the game. We had our finishing lineup out there in the second half against Mississippi State. Well, that tells me that Sharif is in those plans. And so we'll see tonight. There's, maybe it gets out of hand. It doesn't matter who's out there. But if it's crunch time, certainly middle of the second half, we'll see who he's got out there. It'll be interesting to see. I think there are options there. I think there's a lot of people who are kind of thinking Sharif gives you a little bit more. I thought Efton was okay at College Station, but more often than not, he's giving you some issues. So we'll see. I think it's an interesting storyline as we move forward with this team, and we'll see a little bit more of that tonight. Again, just one more nugget. There's a lot of former NBA player sons flavor in the SEC right now. Obviously, Sharif is here in Baton Rouge. We know Jabari Smith played a little in the NBA. Obviously, look at Scottie Pippen Jr. Sharif Abdur-Rahim's son plays for Georgia. Jabri Abdur-Rahim, 6'8", 210-pound sophomore. He had 12 points back on Saturday against South Carolina. So if you see Abdur-Rahim running around on the court tonight, you're like, yep, that's his son. A lot of flavor that way in the SEC this year. And we'll talk a little bit more about the wild night in the SEC coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. But when we come back, going to go to baseball. We're going to look towards the lower half of the lineup, some of the bench options you may not know as well as you know Trey Morgan and Cade Doty and Dylan Cruz and Jacob Berry and all those guys. That's coming up next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Brake Medics, brakemedics.com, brake repair anywhere. Most vehicles, they can change a single axle for just $229 for a front and rear change. All the works, just $449. If that seems a little steep for you and where you are right now, they've got some 0% down financing options over there at Brake Medics. It's so convenient. The price is so good. And it's not just pads. You're talking about pads, rotors, all the way around. 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty with Brake Medics.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to brakemedics.com for your free quote today. You log into their website, you put the make, year, and model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms your vehicle may be dealing with at the time, they'll have all those options right there on the website for you to put in, and put your name, email, and phone number, and brakemedics.com will get back to you with the free quote today.
Maybe driving around right now saying, I don't need my brakes repaired. Well, you may not know, but if the instance arises where you hear something that doesn't sound good, make Brake Medics your first call, your first contact right there on the website at brakemedics.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Dad!
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Yes!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash. 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. Sean Salisbury joins us. We'll preview LSU, Georgia, and hoops. It's a Whiskey Wednesday, overrated, underrated, a ton to do. 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah, yeah.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Well. Jeremy, every once in a while, I open up my Twitter if I'm bored at home or I've just poured a cocktail or like I've got nothing going on, and I just open up for Twitter questions. Like, just ask me anything. Ask me about whatever you want, and we'll answer questions for 20 minutes. And I don't have, 400,000 followers where I get a million questions. I get like 15, and it's fine. It just kills some time. And inevitably, when I ask that question, if it's not in the middle of baseball season, one of the questions is, what's the weekend rotation going to be for baseball? They always want to know. And sometimes I've got a real good feel because there are two guys coming back and there's one highly touted freshman, and you can kind of figure it out. This year, we've had absolutely no idea. And now we have for the opening weekend. Jay Johnson is meeting with the media right now, and he has named 2 starters for this weekend. So I wanted to talk this segment about the bats in the lineup. We have switched that around, and we are going to go to the pitching rotation for this weekend against Maine. Now, as you're all aware, this is not 2 guys who are going to go out there and throw 8 innings, 141 pitches in the middle of February. They're going to ask these 2 guys to go pitch 3, 4, 5 innings on Friday and Saturday, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. But the pitching rotation to begin with has been announced. Your Friday night, opening night starter in Alex Box Stadium for the Fighting Tigers of LSU, Blake Money has been given that title. Mikhail Hilliard, the old vet, will go on Saturday, and they have not made a decision on Sunday. This surprises me on a number of levels, not because I didn't think that the staff liked Blake Money. I gave my prediction with Matt Musso on Monday about who I thought would be in the starting rotation, and I thought it would be Blake Money, Mikhail Hilliard, and Devin Fontenot. That's still a possibility if Fontenot were to start Sunday, but Blake Money getting the first ball and Fontenot not being one of the guys mentioned both surprises me a little bit. Were you surprised to see that?
Yeah, I knew they really like what the progression he made. I know when you saw him when he first showed up to their first scrimmage, you saw, man, that looks like a totally different guy. I didn't think he made that progression. Coach Jay Johnson and Coach Kelly, they feel like he's done enough to earn that right, and I kind of not sure exactly if he's going to still be the guy when SEC play starts, but out there and really show what he can bring to this team. So let's see what he got.
We're going to see what he's got. What he's certainly got is a body that's 37 pounds lighter than it was last year. He was a little bit out of shape when he showed up here in Baton Rouge. And last year he had his moments that were very good. He had his moments that were very not good. In 28 innings, his ERA was 8.68. His batting average against was over 320. However, and he gave up 6 home runs in you're talking about 28 innings. But he did show some swing and miss ability with the fastball, and the breaking ball was okay. Now, the guy that I saw last week was holding 92 miles an hour after 4 innings, was throwing a lot of strikes, was beating bats with his fastball, and was throwing a really good breaking ball. Didn't see a ton of changeups from him, but he has certainly made strides, and I saw that coming out last week. It surprises me that he gets the ball to start, but I'm excited to see what he can do. The second part of this is Devin Fontenot not being in the starting rotation. That shocks me a little bit. Now, he may start Sunday, and that may be the deal. I thought because one of the first conversations that Jay Johnson had with an LSU player when he took the job was with Devin Fontenot saying, hey, we got a spot for you if you want to come back. Now, I can't tell you that he promised him a starting spot. I can't tell you that he promised him that he would have an opportunity to start. I feel confident in saying that he did say, we'll give you a look in the fall and spring to see if you can start. But there's something to the fact that Devin Fontenot has carved out a really strong niche in the bullpen and proven he can be a difference maker in the back end. He had an ERA under 3 last year. He's always been a guy that could strike out a lot of guys. He's pitched in big-time situations before in the SEC, in the postseason, and has been a guy that LSU can prove. I think the most famous instance of that was 3 years ago against Florida State, where he extended over 6 innings and hadn't given up a run until they finally walked it off and they went to Omaha. But, you know, I think with him being a veteran, just thought on an opening weekend there may be a hat tip situation, but this is something that I've talked to you about a bunch over the last couple of weeks. We don't know how Jay Johnson's going to handle things. It's a new world now.
Yeah, definitely a new world. I thought Raisman would be a starter at least, but it looks like he's changed that role for him as well. And I think right now you're going to see a fresh start from this baseball team. He's going to let guys earn their positions, and I thought Fontenot would possibly be the Friday night starter, but that's not going to be the case. So maybe he's a Sunday guy. We'll see. That's to be determined, but I don't know. You got to trust Jay Johnson and what he's doing and what they've been seeing from these guys. They're around him every single day. We're not seeing the work they're putting in and all the progression that they're making. So you got to trust what they're doing and really see what these guys can do on these Friday, Saturday nights.
And the other part of this is Mikhail Hilliard, who did come back, had the opportunity to move on, decided to come back, and he wanted to start. He has proven that he is more comfortable as a starting pitcher. They've gone to him out of the bullpen, hasn't been as successful as a starter. He's been great. I mean, this is a guy who went to Auburn, Alabama as a freshman and beat Casey Mize, who was the #1 pick in the draft and is already in the big leagues with the Tigers, doing damage. And Mikhail Hilliard outdueled him on that night. We saw him last year in postseason throw the ball pretty well. The breaking ball has always been there, and he's throws that cut fastball that's 87 miles an hour, 86 miles an hour. And as Coach Kelly, who was on with us last week, said, look, you turn Mikhail's film on, you watch him in the bullpen, nothing really pops at you. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden you look up at the line score and he's given you 5 innings and he's only given up 1 run and he struck out 5. And that's kind of continued to move forward. And sometimes there's just something for knowing how to play. You don't always have to have the greatest tools. As we say with the 5-star recruits, I prefer if you have all the tools. Yeah. But they're not asking Mikhail Hilliard to be the Friday night ace, to go 7 innings every Friday and outduel first-round picks. They're asking him to start a game on the weekend, and it's Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Friday. Give us 4 or 5 innings of your best stuff. We got enough depth in this bullpen that we can go to some other guys. Just get us off to a good start, and he's proven he can do that.
Yeah, I think that's something to be said about, a guy, maybe you're not throwing 98, 99, but if you have the ability to get outs, I think that's all this coaching staff is really asking for, and I think we've seen this guy have the potential to do that. If you can go out there on any given night, get 15 to 18 outs, help your bullpen out, you're not stretching your bullpen out, and you can trust a guy to do that time and time again. With the bats you have in this lineup, that's really all you can ask for, and I think that's something exactly what Hilliard can bring to this team.
I'm listening at the Bayou Ford chat, and there's some back and forth going on in there about the decision to start Money and what that says about the state of the pitching staff. I've stated on the record many times I'm not comfortable with the way that the staff's going to have to be constructed. I think it probably is the best way to handle things, and there may be 2 or 3 guys that assert themselves over the course of the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season that move themselves into the starting rotation and into a big spot. If you'll remember, Cole Henry's freshman year, he was an afterthought in the bullpen. Then he went out there in Austin, Texas for 4 innings and was brilliant in a game LSU lost. And Paul Mainieri said, I need to give this guy another chance to extend. Did that in the midweek, and all of a sudden he was your best pitcher down the stretch and a guy that was starting on the weekend. That can happen. It's not unheard of. It's better if you show up and you know that you got Alex Lang, who's going 14 starts for you at the front of the rotation, and that's the way we're going to play it. Yeah. This team doesn't have that, so it can manifest itself over time. If they're going to do it mix and match the entire year, I've got some problems with it, but I'm just telling you that I just don't know if there's a better way to do it, and I certainly am not going to sit here in the first weekend of February and say, based on who's looked pretty good in scrimmages and what they've decided to do for the first 4 innings of Friday's game, this entire pitching staff and this team's in big trouble. Yeah. It's too early to do that in a 56-game season.
Yeah, there's so much still to be determined right now. You're playing Maine, so I mean, even if these guys do have amazing performances, I don't know how much you can take away from that. You want to see that consistency throughout, especially the beginning part of the season, and you really get that rotation pinned down and really know exactly what guys are doing and what exact roles the guys are going to be doing. Maybe some of these guys can be stressed out, maybe not. I think all that stuff is still to be determined, and that's why you go out there and play those games. So I'm excited about it. I think Money has a great opportunity to be that guy, just all the work he's put in the offseason, and you can't help but cheer for a guy like that put that amount of work in.
I'm telling you right now that I believe you will see Devin Fontenot extended this weekend at some point. I think you will see Javen Coleman extended at some point this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if Riley Cooper or Ty Floyd was extended at some point this weekend. And if at one point if McHale or Money or if whoever starts on Sunday falters a little bit in the 3rd inning, say Blake Money goes out there in the first game and he has some trouble and gets hit around and they get him out of the game in the 3rd inning, and then Javen Coleman, who comes in from the left side throwing 94 miles an hour and throws 4 shutout innings. All of a sudden, in week 2 of this season, he may start one of the weekend games. That's just, you got to go out there and prove it. And it's a situation like we talk about with basketball, like unlike football. If Maine beats them one game this weekend because one of the guys they put out there didn't get it done and they found something else later there, that's okay in a 15-game season. It's not fun. Everybody will probably go nuts because we've lost a game to Maine. I'm not telling you we're going to lose a game to Maine. I don't think we will. But it's just it's so early to jump to conclusions that I choose and will generally choose to see things optimistically before anything's happened. Mm-hmm. I'm realistic in telling you that I don't like the way that the pitching staff is put together. I would rather have it another way. But let's not say it can't work or that there's trouble before necessarily we know, because we just haven't seen Blake Money minus 37 pounds. We haven't seen Javen Coleman given a shot at the weekend rotation. We haven't seen Eric Raiselman or Paul Gervais on the back end. We haven't seen Riley Cooper. There's just too much we don't know. So that's kind of my thought is got to ride this 56 games. It's a long journey.
Yeah, it's a very long journey, and it's so early on in the season. And a lot of these guys, I know so much has been made about this pitching staff going into the season. We have the world of confidence in the bats they're going to have, especially early on in that lineup. The first thing you have to point to is the pitching and the concerns you have and just not knowing who's going to be that guy. Who can you stretch out? Who can you really depend on when you go against some of these high-powered offenses you're going to start facing later on in the season? So I'm not going to get too wrapped up on it. It's very, very early on, but I'm just excited for these guys to get these new opportunities to see if they can take advantage of it and really, give this team something they can depend on later on in the season.
All right, 2 things to end this segment. 1, we're going to get the Citizens Bank poll question here in a second. And 2, I told you I was going to tell you Blake Money's siblings' names. He's got a brother and a sister. You have any guesses on what their names are?
More and less. How about that?
Mo is his sister.
Okay.
Mo is his sister, Mo Money, and his brother is Cash.
Okay.
Cash Money, young stud. So, just an excellent collection of names with money. The poll question of the day is going to be, who would you like to see start the Sunday game for LSU? We'll give you the options of Devin Fontenot. We'll give you Javen Coleman. We will give you Riley Cooper. And let's see, what other name can I give you?
Floyd?
Ty Floyd's good. Those 4. Give you those 4. Citizens Bank bring you the poll question every day. Go to @1045 ESPN on Twitter, and we will give you the results at the end of the show. Well, that was an unexpected segment as Jay Johnson broke down the pitching matchup. If you missed it, Blake Money will go on Friday for LSU, and McHale Hilliard will go on Saturday. TBA on Sunday for the Tigers. So when we come back, we'll continue the baseball discussion. I want to talk about some off-the-radar-ish bats and guys that will play defense for this Fighting Tiger team starting on Friday. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected.
Me, Jimmy Ott for Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. from City Slice Pints and Pizza near campus, just outside the north gates of LSU. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Wednesday, talking about the Fighting Tigers getting ready for Maine on Friday in the box. Just a reminder, Friday, lots of action over at Walk-Ons on Burbank. Off the bench from 7 to 10 a.m. at Walk-Ons. We will take the reins at Walk-Ons at noon. From noon to 2, Hunt and Hill live from Walk-Ons early line. Also at Walk-Ons from 2 to 3. And Matt Moscona's after further review also at Walk-Ons. So if you're going out to the box or you just want to come hang out, we would love to have you out at Walk-Ons all afternoon. Morning, guys, it's going to be invitation only because, Walk-Ons isn't open. So when they do open their doors at 11 o'clock, you can come on in, get something good to eat, something cold to drink, and hang out with us as we'll be broadcasting live starting at noon on Friday. All right, I want to talk about some of the guys off the radar a little bit with this team. By now, everyone is very comfortable talking about Dylan Cruz, about Jacob Berry, about Trey Morgan, about Cade Doty, about Gavin Dugas, even Jordan Thompson at shortstop, who's going to be in the lineup. They were talking about him right now. They thought he may have had a meniscus injury. Turns out it was just some scar tissue. He's back up and running 100%. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 guys in the lineup. So how do they fill out the other 3 spots? Well, one of them's got to be a catcher because none of those guys are going to catch. So you're talking about Alex Milazzo, who hit 135 last year. We know that. And then you bring in Tyler McManus, who hit 9 home runs last year, hit a lot of home runs in the fall. The exit velocity was consistently impressive. Don't know how he's going to do handling the pitching staff. So it may be an issue where you've got both tools. You've just got to pick and choose when you're going to use them. If you get into a tight game on a Friday with an elite level starter, you might want Milazzo back there when runs are at a premium. If you think it may be a slugfest on Sunday, McManus might be your guy. If you figure he might be able to pump a double into the gap or drive one over the wall, you've got both tools. And if McManus starts a game and it's close late and you want to go to a defensive replacement, Milazzo is that guy. You got any issues with basically using 2 catchers the whole year?
I normally I just like having the guy you can depend on, and I know both of these guys have their issues one way or the other. I know Milazzo, you love to see a lot more from him from the batting box, and I know with McManus, you got some worries defensively and him, stopping some of these pitches at the mound, but I think for me, I would love if Milazzo can get that batting average up and bring some more hitting to the team. And if he can do that, I wouldn't mind him being the full-time starter at the catcher position.
We'll see. I think Blake Money may have something to say about catcher on Friday, but we'll see who starts. Both of those guys are going to get extended playing time this weekend. I can promise you both guys will be in the lineup at some point. Cade Beloso, everyone knows at this point, hit 10 home runs as a freshman. Since then, the power's been gone. Only 4 home runs in a season plus whatever you want to call 2020, which was 4 weeks of a season. What those were basically equaled his freshman year when he hit 10 home runs, only 4 since. So there's been some tweaks made to Cade's mechanics at the plate. Jay Johnson saw something early on video, identified it, and they've been working on that. I think Cade Beloso is a probable DH at some point over the weekend. I think Trey Morgan's going to start all 3 games at first base. We'll see what Cade can give you, but he's kind of a proven commodity. Now we'll start talking about some of the guys that you may know a little bit less about. Brody Dross was on the team last year, didn't have a full-time starting spot, played in 37 games, hit 5 home runs on the season. He hit a big home run against Mississippi State over the right field wall. He homered in the Super Regional at Tennessee. He's got a ton of talent. It's just a crowded outfield. Now I think, based on the fact that Gavin Dugas will be in left and you'll have Dylan Cruz in center, right field is open. And all these guys we're going to talk about for the next 5 minutes are options there. Brody Drost is kind of the one that he's got some skins on the wall at least. He just was a young player. You just got to see. It's always interesting to see how a player jumps from their freshman year to their sophomore year.
Yeah, it's a huge jump, and I think that's where you really, get your feet underneath you. You get a chance to be on campus for a year, know exactly who your teammates are, know kind of what the strength and conditioning staff is going to ask for you, and that's when guys really make that jump, or sometimes you see it go the other way. So I think that's probably the biggest question for the outfield. Like you said, you know who's going to be in center, you know who's going to be in left, who's going to step up and really take that position in right field. And I think they're probably going to be in the latter half of the batting order, whoever does come in that spot. But you would love to be able to get something offensively from whoever you kind of put in that starting position.
There are a couple guys who can really swing it, who I think are very much in line for it. This is who I think is going to be your opening day starter in right field. I'll see if I'm proven wrong, or if Jay Johnson says something in the next 5 minutes to somebody that gives me the answer. But Braden Jobert, I think, is going to be your opening day right fielder. At Delgado last year, he hit .386. He hit 16 home runs. He's 6'1", 215 pounds, swings it from the left side, and he's got a lot of pop, and he can really swing it. And I think what they're trying to do in right field is get another bat in there, and I think that they think that what you would get on defense from DiGiacomo in center field and Cruz in right, which is really good on defense, they can trump that with Cruz in center, which is plenty good enough, and then a better offensive player than DiGiacomo in right field. That's just what I think based on what I'm seeing. And Jobert is a junior college transfer. When LSU's had great teams in the past, they've had great junior college additions. So when you go back to Brad Hopp was a super junior college type player. You go back to your Derek Helenihi came in on that team. You had Matt Clark, of course. Guys that came in on championship teams that were nice role players that came from junior college. It's certainly Joe Bear would like to be that guy on this team. The problem, as I continue to go through these names, all these guys are aware that when they get out there, if they don't produce for 2 or 3 games, somebody else is going to get another shot, which is the tough part.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think for me, I thought I can't even say his last name, Giovanni. DiGiacomo. I thought he'd be the kind of the pencil-in starter. I thought he'd be the guy just with the experience that he has. But maybe you can get some production from a junior college transfer and really, get into that SEC season and really see what he can bring to the team. I know that's going to be a big-time role because some of these lineups you're going to be going against. You can't have just a pitch-in guy that's going to get out time and time again. You're going to need some guys to bring some production, especially on the offensive side. So I don't know who that guy is. I think, like you said, we'll know in the waning days. But that's definitely a position of need that you're going to have a guy that can bring something to the batting lineup.
And the freshman who has impressed a lot of people around here is Josh Pearson. He went to the Florida Summer League after he finished up his senior year of high school, which is a heavy college league. He hit .333 in 28 games there. He led that league in steals, doubles, and extra base hits. He hit 4 homers. He had 10 doubles, stole 23 bases. He also won the home run derby in that league. So this is a kid with a ton of talent. Another left-handed bat, another guy with some pop, similar to Joe Bear, just not as old. Again, they're just options, and you're going to have to see. I wonder, you hope that the competition, breeds work ethic and focus and intensity as opposed to timidness and fear of a mistake. That's what Jay Johnson's got to cultivate, though. I mean, you've been in a lot of practices where guys knew if there's somebody right behind him to take that spot if you didn't play well. That's what these guys are going to enter from the start if they get an opportunity this weekend. Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure, especially if you don't have the experience playing in the SEC. And everything that matters to you is at the practice, what you do every day at the practice field, how you build up into these scrimmages. And then once you do finally get an opportunity in a game, those opportunities aren't going to last long, especially if you're not producing at a high level. So it does create a little bit of pressure. But the guys who can perform under pressure, those are the guys you're going to really need to depend on, especially when the pressure gets tight in these SEC games. And some of these teams are going to be playing throughout the season. So I'm excited. I know Jay Johnson kind of wanted to give everyone a fresh start and didn't want to promise a starting job to anyone and kind of let these guys earn it. That's the situation they're in. When you'll kind of see the guys that kind of rise to the plate and really take advantage of these situations that they're going to get.
And then one guy on the infield who may be asked to play here and there. I think they're going to start with Morgan at first, Doty at second, Jordan Thompson at short, and Jacob Berry at third. That's what I believe will be the starting lineup. Yeah. Now, if somebody were to go down or Berry couldn't play third base, you had to move Doty. Drew Bianco would be an option. Everyone knows him. But Jack Merrifield is also an option on the infield. He was the 2021 National Junior College Defensive Player of the Year. He had a .987 fielding percentage, which is awesome. I don't know if the range is superb, but he's got good hands, and he makes the play when needed. He also posted a 2-year batting average in junior college of almost 400, and he slugged .592. He hit 12 home runs. So he did a little bit of everything in junior college, and I don't know that he's a starter right now, but with Drew Bianco and Merrifield, if anything were to happen to Doty, Thompson, Berry, things weren't working out, or there was an injury, I think that there's a couple of guys and that's always great to just have some depth that you can plug in.
Yeah, you always need depth. It's a long season. You've seen kind of guys get nicked up even before the season even started. So you definitely, that's not a bad problem to have. You want to have guys that you can depend on, especially, with guys, that are, they're probably something going to happen throughout the season, as fortunate as it may be, but it's baseball. Guys get hurt. So the more depth you can have, especially with guys who have experience at the college level and who can swing the bat, I'm sure Jay Johnson is going to find a way to get these guys some opportunities to see what they have for sure.
I would tell you right now that I feel confident we're going to talk about Arch Manning in this last segment, but if Jay Johnson says something more interesting, we might do that. So either way, we're going to close out hour number 1 with some interesting discussion coming up next on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Look, micronutrient deficiencies, low B vitamins, they can drastically affect your energy, sleep, or even your mood. If right now you're not sleeping enough, you have low energy at work, you're trying to parent some kids and you just don't quite have what you need, or you're not sleeping very well, Sync Wellness is here to help. Angie Huff, doctor of pharmacy, and her entire team at Sync Wellness will build a supplement and wellness plan for you based on your nutrient deficiencies to increase your energy, get more restful sleep, and improve your mood. All you got to do is go there, get that blood test. They will see where you're deficient, and they'll put something together for you. They're not grabbing something off the shelf that works for everybody and just handing it to you and say, go get it. No, this is customized wellness and help for you over at Sync Wellness.
Yeah, Sync has all the professional products to help you stay well and keep your immune system strong. One of their most popular items is their pharmacist-created immune pack, conveniently packaged with vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc in the doses you need to stay well. They also have their immune support IV hydration packed with vitamin C, vitamin B, and zinc. And if you're feeling too ill to walk into their suite, their registered nurses will administer your IV curbside.
Tell you about it every single day here on Hunt and Well. It's Sync Wellness over at syncwellness.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 104.5 ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 104.5 ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You know Miller Lite only has one more calorie, right?
And more taste. Good choice.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel, so that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors. It's the
On Wednesdays, Off the Bench, we boot up as Will Wade and the boys take on the Bulldogs in the PMAC. Plus, how did the Pellies fare against John Morant and the Grizz? And a brand new Would You Rather Wednesday, Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We have a busy hour 2 here on Hunt and Hill. Going to start things off with Jordan D. Hill, Dogs 247, talking about this Georgia team that's coming into the PMAC tonight at 6 o'clock. We're also got some LSU basketball in the NBA. One guy headed up to the NBA, Javonte Smart, going to play for the Heat after lighting up the G League. Cam Thomas is on fire. Got a 24/7 article about the SEC's biggest winners and losers in the transfer portal. See what that shakes out to be. And then the SEC basketball last night was wild and crazy. We will talk about that a little bit later as well. But I wanted to finish this up with an article on 247 about Arch Manning. There was a report that came out earlier this week that Arch, who was the number 1 player in the 2023 class, according to 247, was down to 2 schools. His father, Cooper Manning, came out and said that's not true because there's been some regime changes at some SEC schools. You can add 2 programs to the list for the 5-star quarterback. Arch is 6'4", 220 at this point, very high on Alabama, very high on Georgia, very high on Ole Miss, very high on Texas. But it's a good bet that those 4, and this is Steve Wiltfong's story I'm reading now, good bet that those 4 teams, plus the 2 from LSU and Florida, will get Manning on campus for the spring or summer. So, do you believe that LSU has a reasonable chance to get Arch Manning to visit and to jump aboard and be an LSU Tiger?
I can see the visit happening. I don't know if he's going to actually become an LSU Tiger. I don't know. I just never seen that way. Never seemed like to be trending that way. I don't know the kid personally, but for some reason, I just from all the reports and just what's been going on, LSU being right down the road. You would think he'd be an I'm sorry, I can't think Walker Howard situation where you're always on campus, you're always seeing him around, you always see his family around. That hasn't been the case, so I would be shocked if he did come to LSU, but I definitely see him taking a visit before it's all said and done.
Should we even be tracking this in Baton Rouge?
I mean, look, it's hype, man. People love the hype. They love the hope. So I think there's got to be people tracking it all along just because he's down the road. And, his former, classmate, Odell Beckham, Newman grads, he came down to LSU. Maybe we can get Odell, get him on the line. Maybe we can make that happen. But I'm not sure. I just don't feel like it's going to happen.
I feel like there's always been conjecture around Arch Manning, none of which has been substantiated necessarily by, like, quotes on the record or any credible information. There's always been, like, well, Archie doesn't like Lane Kiffin. Archie's a Southern gentleman who, is buttoned up as they come and, upper class. I mean, it's just that's what Archie is. And Lane's a little rough around the edges, wears baseball jerseys and gets on Twitter and makes jokes and says things off color and whatever. That they didn't like each other. And, Lane's at Ole Miss, and that's Archie's alma mater, a place he loves. And I don't know if that's true or not. But, everyone thinks, well, he's going to go to Alabama, Saban this, Saban that. I never heard him say anything. I know Saban's recruiting him. Everyone says, well, the Mannings all hate LSU. Is that true? Like, I don't know. My gut just tells me Walker Howard's here. He's a 5-star quarterback. He's a class above Arch. There's no real ties at all from the family. In fact, Archie, was a rival of LSU's, and so was Eli's. Just the dots don't connect to me. I just don't see Arch Manning going to LSU. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't, but we've seen crazier things happen. I thought we couldn't land Harold Perkins. I was like, yeah, he's going to A&M or he's going to Florida. It's all said and done. Oh, yeah, we're done. We're out of it. Then next thing you know, he's in Baton Rouge. So, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in this whole recruiting cycle. You really, you got to see once he takes that visit, he may fall in love with it. He may love, being in his home state. Who knows? This thing is crazy. We're talking about 16, 17-year-old kids. Like, who knows what's going through their minds? Like, it's a long, long, grueling recruiting process. You get everyone tugging at you from different angles. We'll see how this thing plays out. I'm not going to be tracking it. I know there's some people in the Bayou Ford saying there's no chance we land Arch Manning, but we'll see how this thing goes. But I just think my first thought, I'll say I don't think he ends up being a Tiger.
If you could put him somewhere.
Oh, where do I think he's going?
No. Where would you put him if you could place Arch Manning in college? Of the realistic ones, of the Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Clemson.
I'm going to go with Texas. I think they're going to break out a nice little NIL check for my boy Arch. And
I don't know if that moves the needle for the Mannings. I mean, Cooper doesn't need cash. The Mannings don't really – I mean, everyone wants more money, I guess, so it doesn't hurt. But it's not like they're going to miss the mortgage.
No, I don't think so. But I don't know. I think I'm feeling tight. I'm going to go with my boy Taylor Sharp here. All right. Taylor Sharp thinks Texas. I'm a back him.
If I could place him, I would place him at Clemson, where I would probably never see him again. That would be my thought. I don't know if he's going to be good or not. He seems like a pretty good player to me, and I have no interest in him going to Ole Miss, Alabama, or even Texas, who may be in my division at some point. So I'll just send him out of the conference and hope I never see him again. That's the point. I think Walker Howard's going to be a pretty good player, and I don't think we're going to have have too much to worry about here in Baton Rouge. So that'll put a button on hour number 1. Kind of moved in a way that I didn't quite expect it, and that's because Jay Johnson has named his starting rotation for the opening weekend at the box. Blake Money will get the baseball on Friday night for LSU. Mikhail Hilliard will get the ball on Saturday, and then Sunday is TBA. Jay Johnson also went on to say that there are 10 or 12 guys who could start, which basically tells me there's nobody that's ready to start, and these are the 2 guys that they want to take a look at first. So if you want reaction to that, it was at 12:15 today when we went through that. And then we also talked about the bottom half of this batting order and some of the guys at some of the places that haven't been set in stone and some of the guys you may see this weekend. So a lot of baseball talk coming at you in hour number 1, a lot of basketball talk in hour number 2, some NBA stuff with LSU and some guys in the association. Got Jordan D. Hill from Dogs 247 come up to lead off the hour. Also want to get to a list that I saw, biggest winners and losers on the football side in the transfer portal in the SEC. That's a 247 article that might surprise you just a little bit. So we'll take a time out, and we will come back on the other side of this one, and we'll get back into it with Jordan D. Hill from Dogs 247. So stick back with us. You're Hunt and Hill. It's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Thursday edition of Hunt and Hill. 6 o'clock tonight in the PMAC, LSU and Georgia. Tigers trying to continue a 2-game winning streak and make it 3. Georgia 1-11 in Southeastern Conference play under Tom Crean. Go now to the phone lines, and we'll who covers Georgia for Dogs 247. Jordan, welcome in. How are you?
Hey guys, doing great. Just looking forward to talking about a little basketball.
Well, you may be the only guy in Athens that is feeling that way at this point, with the Dogs being 1-11. Look, I realize that Xavier Wheeler was a huge part of this team last year. He's running the show for Kentucky. KD Johnson has been awesome for Auburn all year. He's no longer there. You look, got a starter that is now at Ole Miss. The transfer portal just kind of dismantled this roster on Tom Crean.
Oh, absolutely. They lost 9 guys from last year's roster, and then, to kind of an additional hit before the season, P.J. Horn, a forward they really counted on to do a lot. He wound up getting hurt and had a season-ending injury. So it's been a situation where the roster wasn't where it needed to be entering the year, and it's really only gotten worse as the year's gone along. Looking back on Saturday, that game they lost against South Carolina, they only had 9 people available in total, and it kind of wore Georgia down. It was a situation after the game. Georgia wound up losing by 12, but Tom Crean talked about that there were stretches where, in an ideal situation, you could pull some of your starters out, just kind of give them a blow, give them a chance to catch their breath, and they just couldn't because of the way the bench is right now and just how shorthanded they are because of illness and also because of injury. So, yeah, it's just a really tough situation the way things have played out. Again, you lose a lot of talent from last year's team. You have a guy get hurt before the year, and then you have the natural sort of attrition that comes through a year with people getting hurt and people getting sick.
So I like to ask beat writers this question because nobody follows the team more closely day to day. How do you feel like the morale is? It's tough to get up and go work out and get treatment, go to practice and travel and play games when you're not getting any results.
Well, yeah, I think that's a big challenge. It's something some of the players talked about after the South Carolina loss, and it's something Tom Crean addressed. He was asked if he was frustrated, and he said that he wasn't because, you got to have that belief in your team. And he talked about just being honest and talking about being truthful with the situation. I think it's one of those things, too, for the players and also Tom Crean alike. People kind of want to dance around the situation, but, they understand what the situation is. They sit last in the SEC. They've, had some situations where they've had missed opportunities to win games, and then there's been others where they were just, flat out outmanned. So I think it's a situation for a lot of the guys, especially the players, understanding, trying to make the most of the situation, trying to finish strong. And now, you're really at the point in the schedule where you can use the motivation, if you so choose, to try to be a spoiler, for teams that are looking at March, and obviously LSU would be one of those teams. Now, saying that you want to do that, you have to be able to back it up, and it's going to be a really, really big challenge for Georgia to be able to hang with a team like LSU. But I think those guys understand that they want to try to end the year on a high note and try to make the most of what's left of the schedule.
We saw this Georgia basketball team, beat Alabama this year and take the number 1 team, Auburn, down to the wire and lose a 2-point ball game. What was it about those nights that allowed them to play so well compared to a lot of the other games throughout this SEC season?
Well, I think a couple things, and one that is not going to be on Georgia's side in tonight's game is they were at home. Both of those games against Alabama and Auburn that you mentioned were in Stegeman Coliseum in the situation where, I think the fans came out and were excited and understood sort of what Georgia could be, sort of that point we just talked about, having a chance to be a spoiler. Came awfully close against Auburn, obviously got it done against Alabama. But in both of those games, I thought their defense really showed up. I think about that Auburn game. Auburn really struggled in the second half to score. It was a situation that for the better part of that game, Auburn was in control, had around a double-digit lead. Going into the second half, I want to say it was about the last 11, 12 minutes of the game, things really got tight. But I think it's really all on their defense. Right now, they're giving up 77 points a game. Obviously, that's just, that explains a lot of why the team is in the situation it's in. But they got to play better defense and not get frustrated. That was something, again, Crean talked about after the South Carolina game. When you can't pull guys out, and when you're out there playing extended minutes and shots aren't falling, you get frustrated. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just trying to play better defense and trying to at least get a little bit more consistency where it doesn't wear on you quite as much as if you have long stretches where shots just aren't going in.
Is there anybody on this Georgia roster that's capable of going for 26 tonight and kind of carrying the load?
I think if Georgia is going to have a chance, it's going to be Kerry Oquendo, shooting guard that has come on strong. He had missed some time. I know that he didn't play the first time Georgia played Auburn, and it wasn't a particularly close game. And then he's back in action when Auburn played in Stegman, and obviously Georgia gave them a run. So I think that's the guy that you got to really watch, that if Georgia's going to keep this thing close with LSU, that it's going to be Cario really being able to make some big plays and to generate some offense.
Is there a sense that Tom Crean may be on a little bit of a hot seat? I mean, 111 just kind of pops, but obviously he's got a lot of skins on the wall.
Yeah, I think it is a situation where it'll be really interesting just to see how things end up. I think something that's worth keeping in mind, too, with Tom is that current athletic director Josh Brooks was not the athletic director when Tom was hired. That was Greg McGarity, who has since retired. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's very fair to say that Tom is on the hot seat. I think that people are paying attention. I think even before the season, when you have 9 guys and several of them, big-time playmakers leave your program, there's a lot of questions, and you got to be able to reload. And quite frankly, that hasn't happened the way it needed to. And you look at a situation where 2 of those guys, Severe Wheeler at Kentucky and K.D. Johnson at Auburn, not only left your program, but are now thriving within the conference. So, yeah, I think it's very fair to say Tom's on the hot seat, and, I think good performances down the stretch. I mean, they're vital, I think, at this point, as Tom tries to look to kind of right the ship down the way.
All right, Jordan, let's switch to football here briefly. Have they recovered in Athens from the victory parade?
Yeah, I think so. I think that maybe the construction team in downtown probably had a little bit of work on their hands. But and what's funny too is just about every Monday night now you'll see on social media being like, it's been blank many days since they won the title. So there's a lot of excitement. But spring practice is now right around the corner. It's going to start March 15th. I'm sure that as much as people are going to enjoy that championship again, since it had been so long since the last one, people will be really excited to see if this team that follows is as good as the one that just won it all.
What's your sense on that? Where is this program now that you obviously lose a lot of huge pieces from that team, but Kirby's stocked the shelves pretty well over the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it will be a challenge, but I think it does set themselves up well with how the conference stands, especially in the SEC East right now. Florida rebuilding. Kentucky should be pretty good again. South Carolina has reloaded. But I think the biggest question to me is just going to be how Georgia reloads on that front 7. I mean, that defense was so good, and you lose guys like Nakobe Dean and Trevon Walker, some of the other players that you could count on, and they consistently made plays. Those guys don't grow on trees. But to your point, like you said, they've done such a good job recruiting. They're going to need guys to step up. I think that they have the talent to do it, but it's not quite clear yet who those guys are going to be, and I'm sure we're going to really learn a lot more of that over the next month or so.
I want to talk about the quarterback position. I know last year going into the season, everyone was really, really high on JT Daniels. Talk about the job Stetson Bennett did last season and going and winning that national championship.
Yeah, I think it was huge, and I think it was a situation, especially like you said, there was so much talk about JT Daniels. You know, I remember after SEC Media Days, after he spoke, he became the Heisman favorite. You know, all of a sudden the betting odds really like JT. And you got to give Stetson a lot of credit. You know, he made a lot of plays. You know, you could obviously pick apart some of the issues he had in the SEC championship game. But to his credit, he just kind of put his head down and kept working, played really well in that Michigan game. And then you look at some of the throws he made in the national title game. I mean, he came through what Georgia desperately needed him to. I think it's really interesting, you know, to look at his decision to come back, because I think, you know, it's going to be a challenge, because he dealt with a lot of people that didn't really believe in him as far as fans and, you know, people on social media. But clearly his team believed in him. His coaches believed in him. He came through, and it's going to be another test for him now. I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks on this roster, like Carson Beck and Brock Vandegrift, some of the other guys, Gunnar Stockton, a true freshman that'll be coming in, that are going to vie for that spot. But, you know, Stetson's obviously the incumbent, and, you know, he's going to be looked at to make plays. And obviously he showed last year he's more than capable of doing so.
Jordan D. Hill, Dogs 247, our guest on the phone line. Jordan, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, always, guys.
Still, just not. This is a Georgia team that is just not very good. I just don't anticipate it goes very well for them. I do, however, think that Kirby is going to have that football program ready to make another run at it next year. As he mentioned, the East is just not very good. We'll see what Tennessee can do to kind of improve there, and I don't know that Napier's going to have them ready to roll in Gainesville in year number 1. So you would feel like Georgia's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, you had me worried for a second, because we were just talking about Georgia football. You said Georgia's not very good. I was like, wait a minute. You're definitely talking about Georgia basketball. But yeah,
correct.
Kirby's going to be in a great spot. Just the recruiting choice he's been on, just that pedigree that he's brought from being around Coach Saban. I have no issues about Georgia next season in football. They're going to be A-okay.
Take a time out. Come back with more. It's Hunt and Hill on a Monday.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill.
College basketball is here, and the FanDuel Sportsbook has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 cash back.
Look, I'm looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. I can't believe I just said it was on a Monday. That was a total whiff on my part. It's Wednesday. It's game day, and Georgia's coming to Baton Rouge as a 16-point underdog. The over-under in the game, 146.5. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook. Place that bet on college basketball. Get up to $1,000 risk-free if you're a new user. If you think that that's too many points and you want to take Georgia and the points, 16, have at it. Think the Tigers are going to blow them away? You want to lay the 16? You can do that as well. See for yourself why FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Promo code 1045ESPN. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as a non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tuesday's Hunt and Hill. Jeremy is back from Cincinnati. We'll get stories from Super Bowl Sunday, and we are inching towards baseball at the box. Hunt and Hill, new to 2 weekdays on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Last night was a wild night in Southeastern Conference basketball. There was a fight in the Tennessee-Kentucky game. We had overtime. We had a half-court shot go in Oxford to win a game that was in overtime. It was a lot to handle, but it was entertaining for sure. I want to start with the Florida-Texas A&M game. A&M snaps their 8-game conference losing streak with a win over Florida. 56-55 was the final. Florida fouled a three-point shooter late in the game. I've tweeted this last night. I think Mike White is a good coach. He did a great job at Louisiana Tech, and in his second year at Florida, they went to the Elite Eight, and you're thinking, okay, this is the guy. He's young. He's got a ton of energy. He's a really good coach. He's won at the lower level. He's won here. But now for his Florida career, he's winning at a 62% rate, 224 and 139. In an SEC play in total, he's 58% win percentage. He's 69 and 50. He made the Elite Eight in year 2, have not been better than a 6 seed since, and have not been to the Sweet 16 since. He's not doing a terrible job, but Billy Donovan kind of showed what it can be. I'm not expecting to win back-to-back national titles, but you got to do better than a 6 seed in 4 years.
Yeah, it's what expectations are, and I think we talked about that early on in the season when Florida started to have some of those troubles. Is that, you know, when you have a Billy Donovan-led program, you go to the Final Four, you win championship after championship. Those are kind of the expectations because the blueprint has been set there at the University of Florida for Florida basketball, and he hasn't reached those expectations. It just hasn't been what you would want to see, and especially having those deep runs into the NCAA tournament. So I think at this point you can put him on that hot seat. I'm sure Florida is going to be looking probably for some more production out of that basketball team. So I think he'll make it through this season, but it's not going to be looking too good for him after that if he continues up with this.
Well, they're 6-7 in the league to this point. In their next games against Auburn and Arkansas. Now, they're both at home, but they still have a game against Kentucky, too. I mean, you're looking at a 10-loss potential team in the league. It's just, that's not good enough at Florida this far down the road when you're not making any runs in the NCAA tournament. You're just not showing a lot of hope. So I think Mike White will get another shot, and he's going to have to prove it there, but it's just not working in Gainesville, in my opinion. Speaking of not working, Ole Miss is not exactly working, and they got beat at the buzzer in the pavilion last night by a half-court shot. I don't know if this was a designed play or if they just executed a backyard play excellently. My gut is, because teams practice this enough, that it was an executed play. But for those who didn't see it, it was a tie game with just under 3 seconds to go, and South Carolina was inbounding the length of the court. They left close to the inbounder that entire half of the court open and had all 4 of their other guys near their basket. They ran the 2 guards towards the inbounder and then immediately pivoted and ran back towards half court. And the guy who threw the ball in basically completed a post route right to midcourt.
Yeah.
And he hit him in stride so he could catch it and release it from half court, and he splashed it. It was perfect execution. I don't know why Ole Miss was trying to cover the guy running to catch the ball away from the basket with 2 seconds left, and not instead of staying between them and the basket. But the play was executed brilliantly, and they made it. And then Kermit Davis went on record in the press conference after they lost to drop their record to, let me check and see what their record is in conference play.
6-7.
No, it's not that good.
South Carolina?
No, this is Ole Miss.
Oh no, they're 3-10.
Ole Miss is 3-10.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
they're 3-10 in the league, and they've been ravaged by injuries. I know Joyner missed a month. You saw Ruffin go down here in Baton Rouge. No doubt, that's happened. But he said, "I'm 100% positive we're a tournament team if we're healthy." Easy now, Kermit. You are 3-10. You have a 12-14 record. You're talking about a team early on that lost to Boise State, lost to Western Kentucky, lost to Samford. Like, I'm not certain you're a tournament team. It sounds good to say that, and we're talking about hot seat with Tom Crean, talking about it with Kermit a little bit as well. And if you're trying to win a little bit of favor with the AD that didn't necessarily hire you, I'm okay with saying it, but I don't believe it. And last night was a gut wrencher for them to lose in overtime on their home floor.
Yeah, that was a poor execution, especially with the game being on the line. You would love for them to just make a full court shot and just not have just a wide open look at half court. I know that's a very difficult shot to hit, but you don't even want to have them in that situation. I think that was a beautifully drawn up play by South Carolina. Lulling them to sleep on the other side of the court, thinking, "Hey, what are these guys doing?" Now it's on tape. I don't know if it's going to work again if they try to run that same play, but when you need to pull it out and you needed to do it, it was a great, and he hit a big time shot on that one.
And then Arkansas beats Missouri by 19 points up in Columbia. I think Kwanzaa Martin's days are numbered up there. There's nobody in attendance at these Missouri basketball games. That's supposed to be the backbone of their athletic program, and they're not any good. And Arkansas is one of their rivals. They have dusted them twice. You saw Kansas absolutely wipe the floor with them. You saw Illinois beat them like a drum. These rivalry games, they're being totally outclassed, and that's not going to sit well with those in Columbia. But Arkansas bounces back, playing well. I mean, it's a good team.
Yeah, they're a really good team. You saw Jalen Williams playing at a high level. You didn't get the scoring you normally see from J.D. Notae, but you got some scoring from some other guys on that team. And,
Yumud, 23 points.
Yumud, yeah, he played at a high level last night. So Arkansas, they're trending in the right direction, man. I didn't think they'd be a tournament team when this SEC play started, but they've been playing extremely well. So you got to look out for Arkansas because they're one of the teams to really beat in the SEC right now.
All right, and here's the game of the night in Rupp Arena. If you looked at this game at Rupp, in the Thompson Bowling Arena, Tennessee and Kentucky, you didn't have to look long to catch some technicals. There were 3 of them in the first 7 minutes of the game. But after that, Tennessee absolutely rolled. They only turned the ball over 8 times in the game. They shot 47% from 3. They have not lost in that building. And I know TyTy Washington tried to give it a go and really wasn't healthy, and it wasn't Kentucky's full complement of players. But they returned that favor. Kentucky smacked them by about 25 in Rupp a couple weeks ago, and they returned the favor up in Knoxville.
Yeah, they did. Tennessee's playing extremely well. I didn't think, Kentucky, the way Kentucky was playing, a lot of people were saying they're the number 1 team in the country just the way they've been playing lately. That was a huge win by Tennessee. That game was not close. That they took that lead and they never looked back after it. So it's a great win for the Tigers. I can tell you that now, especially that win early on beating Tennessee. The way they've been playing lately, that's definitely a win you can chalk down as definitely a quad one for sure.
That was a full-strength Tennessee team that came into the PMAC, and LSU handled them. Now they're playing better. Zakai Ziegler wasn't a huge factor at that point in the season. He's been awesome for them. I mean, they're running a backcourt out there with Ziegler and Kennedy Chandler with neither guy over 6'2". LSU did that with Andre Stringer and Anthony Hickey. Not quite as good as these two guys, but they've been awesome. And then you've gotten production from some of your guys down low. Now, they lost Kamwa, their 4-man. He's out for the year, so that's going to hurt them a little bit, but they're physical. And when they make shots like they did in this game, where they almost shot 50% from 3, Vescovy had 18 points, like they're really, really good. So if I asked you this last week, I'll ask you again. Rank the top 4 in the SEC, 1 through 4.
Oh, 1 through 4. I'm going number 1. I got to go put Auburn back up there now, especially after what I saw last night. Number 2, I'll still keep Kentucky there. And then 3, I'll go Tennessee. And then 4th, I'll go Arkansas.
Yeah, I kept Auburn there the whole time, still do. I still think Kentucky is a 1 seed. I don't know that this loss is going to hurt them very bad going on the road and the number 16 team in the country. They weren't even favored in the game, and Ty Washington didn't play very much, none at all in the second half. So, I don't think this hurts them. I still think they're a 1 seed, and I'm starting to believe in Tennessee. They're playing great. They haven't lost at home all year long, and I think that they're for real. And then I've got Arkansas there as well. You're going to have LSU trying to prove itself over the next couple of games with Pinson back in the lineup. Maybe you can make an argument there, and we'll see if Alabama decides to catch fire like they did at some point last year. Certainly have not to this point, but that's kind of the top of the conference, and I don't know that anybody else is really knocking on that door. It's really going to be up to LSU to kind of prove they belong at some point, and they'll get that shot tonight against Georgia. In the league tonight, Alabama hosts Mississippi State, Tide laying 6.5 in that game, and Auburn will host Vanderbilt. 13.5 is the line there. LSU and Georgia, 16-point game. So not expected to be any fireworks in the Southeastern Conference tonight. We will recap some of that tomorrow. I wanted to get to some of the LSU basketball guys here in the NBA before we got to the transfer portal with football in the next segment. Some great stuff. Javonte Smart got a 2-way contract with the Miami Heat. He is averaging 30 points per game in his last 3 in the G League. He scored 40 in the game earlier this week, and so the Heat are going to bring him up. He's not a guy I thought had a great NBA future, but he's knocking down shots at an unbelievable clip at this point in the G League, and the Heat want to see if he can kind of catch that fire and bring it to them for just a little bit. I was looking at his box score from the other day. He was 11 of 18 from the floor, and from the three-point line, he was unconscious, 8 of 13 in a 40-point outburst for Javonte. So that's really good to see, and I think, quite honestly, not something I expected to see from him at the next level.
Yeah, I'm sure this LSU basketball team could use a lot of that right about now. I can tell you that right now. He's playing extremely well, and that's how you earn yourself a shot at the next level, just playing that way, especially at the G League level, just doing it week in and week out. You filling the box score up like that. The NBA is definitely going to take a look at that. So I continue to see him. I want to see him continue to play well. This Heat team is definitely a playoff team. They're going to be looking to make a deep playoff run. They've been to the finals before, so they're looking for all the help they can get. So hopefully he can really make that team full time and really try to bring some contribution to that Miami Heat basketball team.
I'll tell you who's making contributions, and you can tell me a little bit more about the role he can play on this team. But Cam Thomas, over his last 6 games, is averaging 21.5 points. He's shooting 50% from the floor, 34% from 3. He's getting to the free throw line 5 times a game, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. He was an instant offense guy. He's given him about 22 a night over the last week, and I think he's kind of finding a niche there.
Yeah. We talked about it, him during Summer League when he was just filling the box score up like he was at LSU during Summer League. And we said, well, you got Kyrie Irving. Well, you got James Harden. No, you don't. You got half of Kyrie. Harden's out of town. And now that guard position is truly opened up, and he's taking full advantage of that. He's playing extremely well. I've watched him next game this year. He has the ball in his hand, and he does not hesitate. He has a green light. Steve Nash gives him a green light. So if he feels aggressive and he wants to take shots, he has that ability to do that, and you see him taking full advantage of that right now. That's going to be a team. They had an 11-game skid. They lost 11 in a row, but now they're going back in the right direction, and I consider him to be a true helper and a true contender on that team and help them continue to make their playoff push too.
I absolutely thought Cam Thomas would carve a niche out in the NBA. I did not think Javonte Smart would get there and make the plays. I did think Watford would, and he's kind of done that. He's not a star. Right now as just a rookie. He's played in 22 straight games, which is a big deal. And during that stretch, he's averaged 5.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, an assist in about 15 minutes. So clearly in the rotation for the Blazers at this point.
Yeah, he is. And you see the Blazers kind of go to that rebuild, which gives guys like Wofford an opportunity to get some more extended minutes, and he's taking advantage of that. Those are the things you need to do because you're always auditioning in the NBA. So if you're not playing well in the team, they want to rebuild, move some stuff around. There's going to be some other teams giving you a look, but he's taking full advantage of the opportunities given to him. He got really close to a double-double the other night. I want to see him kind of stack a few more of those up. But he's definitely been playing well. I mean, dang, can we get some of this offense that all these guys are putting out at the next level? That'd be nice. That'd be nice to get a little of that in Baton Rouge.
I mean, look, 2 years ago, this team that had Skylar Mays, who's making an impact for the Hawks, Javonte Smart, Trendon Watford, then you had Cam last year. You've had some legit NBA guys who could play on the offensive end. They just didn't guard. They just did not play enough defense, and now playing great defense. And I'm having a hard time finding NBA scorers on this team. So Will Wade said he's got it figured out for the next time through in this class. Hopefully it balances things out a little bit. But it's great to see Cam Thomas playing great with a new role with the Nets. Javonte has been called up to a two-way deal by the Miami Heat, and Trendon Watford has played in 22 straight over the last month up there for Portland. So great for those guys, and look forward to watching them as they continue to grow in their professional career. But for now, back to the LSU Fighting Tigers against Georgia tonight at 6 o'clock. And we come back, 24/7 Sports came out with an article, biggest winners in the SEC and losers in the SEC, ranked them 1 through 14. You'll be a little surprised to see where LSU nets out there in that one. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge, the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance with the latest in office technology from desktop to production.
For a Wednesday edition of Early Line, as we look ahead to LSU basketball versus Georgia and the rest of the college basketball slate, and we're 2 days away from LSU baseball. Tune in from 2 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
247 Sports comes out with the story here. SEC's biggest winners and losers in the transfer portal. Brandon Marcello covers the sport nationally for 247. Out of 14 teams, where do you think LSU falls? It's a net with who you lost and who you got.
I'd go 4.
4?
Yes.
No, not 4.
Higher?
He ranks LSU.
Can't be lower.
Based on the portal.
Sheesh.
The thought is you lost your starting quarterback, Max Johnson. You lost a former five-star Eli Ricks. You lost your other starting corner, Dwight McGlothern. They seem to think Landon Jackson's some kind of star. Number 1 pass rusher in the portal, apparently. I haven't quite seen that. But that was one of the that they noticed. And they list everybody that you got, but the net, they say, didn't quite make as much to LSU. So 12th out of the 14-team league. You got some beef with that?
I mean, it's their opinion. I mean, I could disagree with it, which I definitely will. I think the loss of Eli Ricks, that definitely stings a ton. Dwight McGlothern, I don't know how much that's going to move the needle for me. I think he was an okay player. He was a good player. I don't think he's an All-American or an All-SEC guy. So Max Johnson, I think Tiger fans saw their fair share of Max Johnson. So I don't know, man. I don't think that. I mean, only guy to me is Eli Ricks, but that's one player. And I think the job you did replacing that with some of the guys you get from Arkansas, you get Greg Brooks Jr., you get Joe Fouché, you get Bernard Converse. I don't know. 12 is a little low for me, but maybe I got my LSU bifocals on. Need to rub them off a little bit here, but I don't know.
If I told you could have Max Johnson, Eli Ricks, Dwight McGlothern back, and you got to give back everybody that you lost and that you gained in the transfer portal with the 2 offensive linemen, with your couple linebackers, you got to ditch the secondary players. You're not.
I want Miles Brennan as my quarterback.
Okay.
I can take the Snake Durant. He can go to play at Alabama. He can go over there and have his fun with Saban over there. No, I like what we got here. I think we saw Max. He's had plenty of opportunities to go out there and play at a high level. He did a great job against A&M, made a big-time throw at the end of the game. But to me, the up-and-down consistency, the pocket presence, I don't want to see that from my LSU quarterback. I think Miles Brennan is going to do a better job, and you got Walker Howard coming into town. So, no, I like where my Tigers are at right now.
All right,
like
he goes through. He says Bama's number 1. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, best available running back from Georgia Tech. Got Eli Ricks. Got Jermaine Burton, who was a big-time recruit from Georgia. So they've got them at number 1. They've got Ole Miss at number 2. The crown jewel is Jackson Dart. He's rated the 3rd best.
Did Jackson Dart he committed somewhere in the portal?
Yeah, he's going to Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah, we did say that. Yeah, we did say
but
that. I'm sorry.
I mean, he was a fine recruit. It's not like he's the Pac-12 Player of the Year that's transferring in. I swear, I can't prove this at all. His name is Jackson Dart, Jaxson Dart. If his name was John Anderson, I don't think anyone would think that much of it. I just think Jackson Dart as a name has captivated everyone in college football, and they think that this is just because his name is so cool that he's got to be good at football. Well, where's the proof? I see a former 4-star who played it a little bit at SC. I think if he's Will Anderson, nobody cares.
Wait, they said Vanderbilt did a better job in the transfer.
You got to love the doors. Anchor down.
Oh, my God. Who made this list?
Brandon Marcello.
Brandon. We're going to have to get Brandon on here.
Look, here's why they say that. They added a Clemson linebacker and a cornerback from UConn, who I'm sure was great for UConn, who allowed approximately 700 points per game last year. Sid watched his stock store after he was originally a 2-star out of high school. Look, they had 16 guys transfer out and 3 new guys come in, and one of them is a corner from UConn. That's a tough sell to tell me that Vanderbilt did a better job than LSU in the portal.
Okay, and then he's saying Arkansas because they got Dwight McGlothern and Landon Jackson.
Oh, pass rusher? I told you. They love him. Best pass rusher in the portal.
Look, man, I know Landon. Look, I'm sure he's a great kid. He was great in the classroom, all that stuff. I saw this guy at camp. I'd be hard-pressed to see this guy coming off the edge of bending. You got to be bendy. You got to be able to bend. I don't know if he's going to be doing that, especially at the SEC level. We see, prove me wrong. I'd be great for you and your family if you did. I just don't see that. I'm going up and down this list. Maybe my bifocals are a little blurry right now, but just not seeing it. 12? Okay, so how does 24/7 have you ranked in the top 3 in the transfer portal, but now you're 12 on the SEC list. How does that make sense?
Because it's a net, because they're weighing what you lost, and they're saying that McLaughlin, Ricks, Miles Brennan, Max Johnson and Landon Jackson, plus Trey Palmer going out, who was a 4-star recruit. The net of all of it is not good for you.
Okay, so with this net, quote unquote, they don't weigh who you have on your roster already, because if you lose a position of need, do you
they
really?
don't care about that.
Okay,
Just stars moving
that's
in
fine.
and out.
Okay, maybe I can take a little bit off of Mr. Marcello here, but I still disagree. I strongly you got Missouri. All right, I'm done here. Okay.
No, but I mean, look, I tend to side with you here because when you look at it, look, Mekhi Wingo was a freshman all-conference player at Missouri. Fuchsia and Brooks both started in the secondary for Arkansas. Jarek Bernard was a all Big 12 player at Oklahoma State. Noah Cain was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school who was productive at Penn State and has proven to be a player. And, people think that Miles Frazier is going to be a really nice piece on the offensive line. So, look, Ohio State was trying to get Miles Frazier as well. Like, it seems to me like the positives outweigh the negatives on LSU's side. I understand Eli Ricks was a 5-star and could be an All-American. Like, that's a big deal. McLaughlin was a starter as well. But that losing McLaughlin and then taking 2 from Arkansas, a safety and a corner, has got to at least even out.
Yeah, I would say so. And to me, those guys are a lot more proven than Dwight is. They played a lot more snaps, a lot more big-time SEC games. Dwight came in as a backup into the season as a backup. Those guys came into the season as a starter. So you're losing a backup, and it outweighs getting 2 starters
and
back.
Here may be a bigger issue. How is LSU ranked behind Auburn, who lost the whole team? They had 20 departures, including their starting quarterback, and they added in Zach Calzada. How is that better than us?
Oh, man. And then you got Missouri, and they lost their starting quarterback and their best freshman defensive lineman. Missouri is somehow higher than us. Who they get back? Javon Baker. Okay, I like that. I like
Auburn,
Baker, but
how you have a net gain? They have a net gain on here when they lost 20 and added 5. And of course, what is the one thing they say is that how do they preface Zach Calzada?
Oh, he beat Alabama.
He beat Alabama.
Yeah,
Not what he did the whole rest of the season. When he came into Tiger Stadium and played the JV squad and got beat in front of like 13 people. But don't worry about that game. We're worried about the Bama game where he had like a broken leg and threw a fluke touchdown pass at the end. Now we're just kind of running off the rails here, but it's a funny little poll that they put together on 247.
This is golden, man. Look, this is real golden. Look, this is why you play the games on Saturday. This is all fun stuff to do in the off season, but I just have to firmly disagree with a lot. The doors.
Anchor down.
So I hope. Look, I'm gonna need to see it at least, and I'm not. This is not asking for too much. At least 4 SEC. Since y'all did so great in the trench, can I get 4 SEC wins next year?
Wait.
Can I get 4?
Why don't you ask me to grow 2 feet by dinner time?
Look, he's saying
they're not going to win. They won't win 4 league games while Clark Lay is the head coach there. He will not win 4 SEC games while he's the head coach there.
They're the 8th best team in the SEC in the portal.
Transfer portal.
Come on, you got to
give me 4. They won't win 4, and I got in trouble with Hester on this one when I got out over my skis with the Kansas thing, and I said that Les Miles would never win a league game while he was at Kansas. He won 1 because the Texas Tech guy had just a total brain fart, for lack of a better term, and tried to touch a field goal. But no, Clark Lay has no chance to win 4 league games while he's there. He'll get a buyout. He'll get a nice salary, and then he'll move on to be a defensive coordinator somewhere that'll be a lot more fun than trying to win at Vanderbilt. But yeah, it's a tough poll there from Mr. Marcello on 247. But it led us some nice talking points for us, so I appreciate him for churning out the content. That was very, very good. We'll come back and finish things up here. We'll get our Citizens Bank poll question. We'll do some take it or leave it, and we will get on down the road here on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Pumped to tell you about Bayou Ford. You can catch them at BayouFord.com. Look, they've got Broncos over there. They've got Jeep products as well. They've got Wranglers. And Jeremy and I were talking with Ben about this a couple of weeks ago. They've got the Black Widow trucks and the Jeeps. They're the only ones in a 180-mile radius. For some, that doesn't interest you, but there are a lot of people that it does, and they've had a ton of success moving those off the lot. So if you're interested in those Black Widows with that black interior, all the features that come with those Black Widow cars, just check it out, BayouFord.com, or call them up at the store. They will have one in stock for you very soon.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about going down to the dealership. Bayou Ford has 6 full-time drivers. Their only job is to deliver your custom vehicle right to you. All you got to do is go to BayouFord.com. They're going to do right by you.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. Sean Salisbury joins us. We'll preview LSU, Georgia, and hoops. It's a Whiskey Wednesday, overrated, underrated, a ton to do. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a fun show. Enjoyed it here on a Wednesday. I think I've said the wrong day of the week 3 times in this hour. I definitely called it a Monday at one point when we were coming out of a segment. And then I think I said Thursday at one point too. It's Wednesday. Friday, we'll be at Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, the morning show from 7 to 10. We will be on from noon to 2. Mario and Musso with Early Line from 2 to 3. And Matt Moscona's AFR. Looking for something to do on Friday afternoon for lunchtime? Come hang with us, or just hang out all afternoon and get ready for baseball at the Box LSU in Maine at 6:30. The news of the day that Jay Johnson has announced his opening weekend rotation for LSU. Blake Money will get the ball on Friday. You will see Mikhail Hilliard on Saturday, and then TBA on Sunday. So our Citizens Bank poll question of the day naturally had to do with that. We appreciate Citizens Bank for giving you that poll each and every day. The results are as follows. Our question was, who do you like to see start the Sunday game for LSU baseball? Ty Floyd coming in fourth with 7%. Had Riley Cooper, the left-hander from Arizona, come in at 12%. Devin Fontenot in second place with 40% of the vote, and the winner, Javen Coleman, with 42% of the vote. We appreciate y'all for voting, and we will see what the answer is coming up on Sunday. All right, let's do some take it or leave it. Mr. Hill, fire away.
All right, our favorite coach in the SEC. No, I'm just kidding. Head coach Mike Leach. He's seen trolling the University of Texas before they enter the SEC, stating in a cameo video that the SEC isn't scared of a team that goes 5-7 in the Big 12. You taking or leaving Mike Leach trolling Texas?
Sure, whatever you want to do, Leach. It's all you, buddy. It's a cameo video. They tell you what to say, so maybe he was just coaxed into that, but. Mike Leach is not scared of saying anything in February, March, April, and sometimes not afraid to say anything in September. So, I'll go ahead and take that. That's just fine. General Manager Daryl Morey got a little sassy with Sean Marks for the trade deadline, trying to deal Ben Simmons to the Nets. Said stay on the blanking phone before trying to get the deal done. GM's using expletives to try to get guys traded. Take it or leave it.
I guess I'll take that. And look, it's getting close to the trade deadline here. We're trying to get something done here. I'm sure he's not trying to be stuck with Ben Simmons for 4 months while he sits the pine and not brings anything to the team. And he gets his best bud, his buddy, his best friend ever, James Harden, back on his team. So I'm sure Daryl's getting a little sassy with Sean Marks there, who said it was pretty funny. Sean Marks said, "So we're cursing now, Daryl? That's what we're doing now?" So that was pretty funny. So yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. They got the deal done. I'm sure both sides are happy. So yeah, I'll take that one.
I would be the worst at the trade deadline. Like, I'm just trying to keep everybody happy, and I just want to have a conversation. Everybody keep the energy in a positive frame. I can't deal with people yelling, hanging up on people, flinging expletives, lying. That's not my scene. I'm just not. It's not why. That's why I'm not a titan of industry or business. No, it's hard for me to see, like Theo Epstein going nuts on the trade deadline. But it's interesting nonetheless. All right. New head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, said he has every intention of pulling all the greatness out of Tua Tagovailoa. Tua is greatness in him. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I'm sure my boy Bilbo Baggins in the Bayou for chat's not going to like this. He's Fins Nation all day. That's all he talks about in the chat. But look, they had a chance to draft Justin Herbert. They're going to be kicking themselves in the butt for a long time for that. You're going to just see Herbert chunking the ball down the yard, throwing 60-yard touchdowns off his back leg and all that stuff. And you're going to be stuck with Tua, man. I think he's an average quarterback. And to win in this league, average just doesn't cut it unless you just have an amazing defense, an amazing run game. And the Dolphins just don't have that right now, so I'm gonna have to pass on that. I know Coach McDaniel's gonna say and do all the right things right now, but gotta have to pass up on that one too. All right, Gonzaga, they have their third stint as the #1 team in the country in the AP poll for the 2021-22 season. Are you taking the Zags? They'll stay the #1 team until the NCAA tournament.
I'll take it. It's stupid, I'll take it. Anybody who had Auburn #1 and then voted them down because they lost at Arkansas, while Gonzaga goes and beats Pacific and whoever else, Cal Poly Tech. The poll's stupid. It's just all it matters is when you lose. Gonzaga always goes undefeated from Christmas all the way through. They always wind up #1. They're really good, and they might be the #1 team in the country. They don't ever play at Arkansas once the new year comes. They do it in November, and they lost a couple. They went and they lost to Alabama, but they don't play anybody tough enough, so it's why the polls are really, really dumb. I always get asked, when's LSU going to be ranked if they do that? I was like, it doesn't really matter. Make sure your net score is very good. Make sure you handle yourself in your conference. Win some road games. Handle yourself in quad 1. Don't lose any quad 4 games. LSU plays one tonight. And you'll be just fine. So that's the moral of that story. All right, the line on FanDuel 16 tonight for LSU hosting Georgia. Where do you stand on that one?
It's healthy. It's a healthy number. But I ride with my Tigers, man. I ride with my Tigers. No, they haven't been playing extremely well in the second half of some of these games, letting some of these teams get back in and getting a little lackadaisical and turning the ball over. But I think they can go. This is a bad Georgia team, and they're on the road. So I see them laying down pretty quick once the Tigers jump on them.
I think LSU wins the game. 16 is just too many points. I can't in good conscience trust LSU with 16 points right now. They may do it, and I'll be thrilled if they come out to it. I think they win the game, and I don't think they break too much of a sweat in the last 8 minutes doing it. But 16 points is a pretty healthy number. That's a 6 o'clock tip-off. I can't wait for the tweets that say that it's an empty building. It happens every time LSU plays at 6 o'clock. Well, there's nobody here. Where's the crowd? Trust me, it's 5 o'clock traffic in Baton Rouge, 6 o'clock on a weekday. By the time the 12-minute mark of the first half hits, it'll be a pretty good atmosphere in there. But if you freak out when there's 2 minutes to tip off and they're doing the starting lineups and there's nobody in there, that happens every time, every single time. So that's just where that's going to go. But I think LSU will handle their business this evening, and they really need to. Can't afford a quad 4 loss at this point in the season. The last quad 4 game on LSU's schedule, they don't have a loss there to date. Let's make sure that stays the same way. We previewed LSU and Georgia to start the show at 12 o'clock. We also chatted with Jordan D. Hill at 1 o'clock talking LSU and Georgia. Had some great breaking news in the first hour about LSU starting rotation. We went through all of that at 12:15 and then talked about the bottom half of the batting order at 12:30. So for all your LSU baseball talk in this show, middle of hour number 1 is where you want to be. Had some fun with the transfer portal and a list from 247. And the last segment also talked a little basketball. LSU's got some guys really making some waves in the professional ranks, and we spent a bit of time covering that. So if you're looking to get into all of that, you can certainly do so on 1045ESPN.com, where you can find everything on demand on the Hunt and Hill tab. Or you can go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, throw us a like. We'd really appreciate if everybody in the Bayou Ford would throw us a like. There was a Roman numeral 9 that said the show sucks a couple times in the Bayou Ford. You had felt the need to do that. Just throw us a like if you think the show sucks. Just help us out. Maybe we'll move a little bit forward in the right direction. But we appreciate the feedback. Always very, very constructive there in the Bayou Ford chat. It's going to do it for us here on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. Excited for tomorrow's show. We'll be breaking down LSU and Georgia. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Jimmy Ott's Game Time coming at you from 6 to 8. Mario and Musso have your early line coming up next. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow. It's Hunt and Hill.